Yeah. Got it. So she didn't like it.
Okay, good evening, everyone. We'll be getting started here in 1 minute. So if you want to finish up conversations, and we'll go ahead and get started. Thanks. Okay. Good evening. I'm Matt Lowy. I have the privilege and honor of being your chapter president for the last year and 3 months. So it's gone by quick. Welcome back from our, thank you. Welcome back from our summer break. Hopefully the July and August was fruitful and relaxing, and back to work from our association duties and programs. So we're looking forward to giving you a great second half of the year. From a show of hands, who was with us on our summer virtual education day that we had in late July? Okay, so about maybe a quarter. So the good news is, if you missed it, all those recordings are on our chapter YouTube channel. With PDU claim codes, and if you need any help with the PDUs, we can help with that. I know you've heard that before, but if you're patient with us, we can get them in. And we apologize to those who did attend. The PDUs came a little bit later, but all 9 were given. So, but we had a great day of programs. So a lot of good content. The topic and theme of pivoting your purpose is especially timely in 2025, just as people with the AI boom and the change to the federal workforce, and as a result, the private sector consulting industry. So we had a lot of good seeds planted in that day. So we recommend you checking those videos out. For those who have been accustomed to our in-person November symposiums, we're not going to be able to have that in person this calendar year. We are working on the first quarter of 2026. Problems with that is, if we give a date in January or February to be at the Silver Spring Civic Center for 1 or 2 days and there's winter weather, then that's a little problematic. So, and we're all great risk managers. So on the side of risk, we are probably going to look at late February, early March to have that event. But we do promise that as one of the membership perks that come with your $20 dues. So we'll still pull that off. But in absence of an in-person event in November, we will be having a federal forum spotlight. This will be more of a focus on federal opportunities, federal employees, consultants to the federal government. We know that the federal government's changing, but that'll be weaved in. So it should be a good day of content, and we should have a date out for that soon. Also in November will be our chapter elections. So if you're interested in being a part of the chapter board team that puts on these events, that does the outreach, if you have ideas that you put in surveys in the past and haven't been implemented, we'd encourage you to throw your name in the hat. We'll have a nomination form process in the coming weeks leading up to those late October, early November elections. So consider joining us. Okay, everyone received raffle ticket when they arrived. So, and for our virtual attendees, we owe you one. The Doors You Can Open by Dr. Rosalind Chow, new way to network, build trust, and use your influence to create a more inclusive workplace. We have one signed copy with a signed nameplate in there. So if everybody wants to pull out their tickets. And the last three will be 474. Any takers? Okay, Mr. Chair. Okay, and by a show of hands, who joined us last October for our in-person symposium? Okay, a few. So we were blessed with best-selling author Dr. Todd Kashdan, and we, in agreement for him to waive his speaking fee, we bought more copies of the book than we had. So we've been raffling those off throughout this calendar year, but we're down to 3 left. So we have 2 to raffle today. And that's Art of Insubordination. And 470. Hey. And 458. Okay, we have a winner. Yeah, so congratulations. And those are signed in the first, on the 4th page, I believe. Okay, we're also happy to continue our tradition of the November free dinner, where we'll have this whole room packed with a buffet line out in the atrium, which is complimentary for all valid active members. Part of the presentation will be longtime member and Marine Corps veteran Dr. Jeffrey Jones on becoming Santa, and then we'll have some a mixture of other content there as well. So that registration will be coming open early to mid-October, and we look forward to thanking you for being your members and having a full room. Maybe not with all the wedding decor, but okay. PMI and other associations have kind of latched onto this whole CERT summer or summer of CERT, where you use the summer to get a certification. Good to see that so many of our members took that opportunity. A lot of PMPs. For those who didn't know, PMI recently partnered and acquired an AI firm. So now we're offering a Certified Project Manager in Artificial Intelligence, the CPMI certification. 3 of our members already have it, so we can put you in touch with one of those if you're interested. It's around a high $600 commitment. I paid it, but I haven't taken the test or putting that much time into the workbook yet. So maybe by October, I'll be on this list, but probably not. But it's good to see that there's enthusiasm. Oh, great. It's the training's 30 hours forecasted, and the workbook's around 110 pages. But it's a whole new kind of process map from the project lifecycle that we're used to for AI projects. So more data driven, but it's interesting curriculum. So the question was on resources. So basically you just have that one workbook. There's not a bunch of education companies interpreting like the PMBOK like they do for training exams. So I will reach out to one of our longtime members to ask her so I can get those answered for you. But I think it should be more cut and dry based on that, where there's so many interpretations of the PMBOK. And speaking of the PMBOK, version 8 should be coming out around December, January timeframe. The test is still based on most of version 6, not even version 7 yet. So we're not sure how that's going to affect the PMP test. But Yes, it's a virtual self-paced course, and the test, you don't have to go into a Pearson View Center and be escorted to the bathroom. It's for all intents and purposes, open book. There's not that virtual proctor either. So.
4 hours.
I think it's 90 questions, so I think they still give you like 2.5. Okay. And then the CAPM, which is the PMP Light certification, we still have people in the industry getting that. So congratulations to all our members. PMI recent, one of the great things about your PMI membership is all the reports and research that the Newtown Square team does. So they just released their salary survey report. So if you think you're underpaid, it's good to look in there and justify. If you know you're overpaid, you may not want to look at the report and the survey, but definitely good kind of fodder. It's always good to know your worth and know what where the industry's headed in terms of compensation. Keep tabs on our calendar. All of the emails you get for there's a webinar for this, there's a webinar for that. The ones I get, I try to add to the chapter calendar. So if you ever have a down day where you're looking for some enlightenment, that's a good resource. Does anybody need a job or have a job that would like to come up and give an elevator pitch? Sure. Okay. For our virtual attendees, if you could come up on the mic. There.
Hi, I'm Susan Minushkin, and I need a job. I've been a project manager for 16 years. I worked for USAID contractors, which is why I'm looking for a job. I recently, although I've been a project manager, I never had a PMP. I recently completed my PMP. I'm doing a course in AI. I've managed projects everywhere from Sudan, Nigeria, Mexico, Guatemala, all over the world, 5-year, multi-million dollar projects. I'm known as problem solver, and I also have technical expertise, PhD in political science, so democracy kinds of programs, but more relevant is I'm an expert in performance frameworks, OKRs, KPIs, and independent evaluation. I am looking for a job. Some of you have been wonderful and reached out to me since last time I was up here at a last meeting, and I'll keep coming up here looking for a job and letting people know. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. My name is Michael Georgiou. Some of you know me from previous occasions. I founded a recruiting company named Hermes Solutions. I deal mainly with data, project, program, and product managers, in particular in healthcare and health insurance, but these skills are fully transferable to other industries or from other industries. So I will leave my business cards on the table at the entrance, and please grab one when you pass by. Thank you.
And as career fairs and things of that nature pop up, we are promoting that in our newsletters as well. If you need PDUs, we're one of the few chapters in the world that put as much of our content online as we can for on-demand access and PDU earning. So it's good background noise if nothing else, and then you can claim the PDU via the claim code. We're also one of the few chapters in the world lucky enough to have a sister Toastmasters group that promotes excellence in public speaking. So we have their leadership team here to give an announcement. And while they're coming up, we do apologize for the late entrees. There is coffee out there now, so wave us down if that gets slow. And here's our Toastmasters group.
Good evening. My name is Preet Kaur. I am the current Vice President of Education for our Toastmasters Club. And we meet every second and fourth Wednesday of the month on Zoom. And the third Wednesday we meet in person. Currently, we are not at Davis Library. Hopefully, we will be going back in the next calendar year. Currently, we are meeting for our in-person at Rockville Library on the third Wednesday. And our next meeting is next Wednesday via Zoom. And please feel free to see myself or Alan if you want more information to join the meeting. And with that, I'll turn it over to Alan.
Good evening. My name is Alan Jung. I'm the VP of Membership at the PMI-Montgomery County Toastmaster Club. And thank you for allowing me to talk a little bit about our club. Today, I'd like to share a story about a little girl called Natalie. Natalie is a first grader in our Sunday school at my church. Sweet, shy, and very observant. This past Easter, we had an egg painting activity, and all the kids were busy dipping and decorating. I was the teacher in the Sunday school class. Little Natalie approached me and put her hand on my elbow gently. He asked, "Mr. Allen, someone has a question." I was like, "Who has a question?" And she raised her hand. "I have a question." I said, "Okay, Natalie, what's your question?" "Mr. Allen, have you noticed who doesn't have an egg?" I said, "Who doesn't have an egg?" "Me, I do not have an egg." And then she looked me straight in the eye. "Would it be nice if I can color as well?" "Of course. I'm sorry. How come I didn't bring one to you?" So I quickly found the kit and gave it to her. And she went to work happy and satisfied. Wait a minute. What just happened? Little Natalie caught my attention by touching me gently, asked serious questions to make me think, and then convinced me to give her what she wanted in the most effective way. That was the epiphany moment for me. Great communication skills can be learned and probably copied. This is why I talked to her mother, and she told me that her mother used to be a school teacher, and Natalie had a great kindergarten teacher as well. What she was doing was simply copy from her teachers. So later, I asked little Natalie, "How come you're such a good communicator?" And she was like, "Huh?" I said, "Okay, I got it. It must be in your genes." "What?" Okay, so if you are not sure whether or not you have these genes in your DNA, or you've never been to kindergarten, but still want to improve your communication skills, our Toastmaster Club might be your solution. In our club, children of all ages come together and learn from each other and improve our communication skills all together. So if you're interested, talk to us after the dinner. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to our Toastmasters group. Speaking of sister organizations, our sister chapters in the National Capital Region have great opportunities in the fall. PMI-WDC has a monthly meeting Tuesday, September 23rd on risk management in uncertain times. And then on October 24th in the evening with a gala, and then 25th, all-day Saturday event, they have their annual conference at the Hilton National Mall. It is a little pricey, $440 for non-members, but the Hilton isn't giving away their space for free, so most of the funds go to pay for the venue costs, not necessarily to go to the chapter. They're the biggest chapter in the world for a reason, with 12,000 members strong, so that should be a good day of content. PMI Baltimore has a great event in 2 Saturdays. With their AI and project management symposium at the UMBC Training Center in Columbia. And that's more affordable if you're not a member of PMI Baltimore at $60. And then PMI Silver Spring is in a civil war with PMI WDC, having the event on the same day and the same time. So we'll see how that goes, but it may be TBD because they're looking for a new date. But I'm a member of all 4 of the other chapters in the 60-mile radius. They all offer great content. So consider keeping those in mind. Our education partners are doing great things. If your company or agency has an annual education allowance, using those funds to challenge yourself for a new certification or just some fundamental skills is a great opportunity. And then we're all here today to see and welcome Ms. Kaarmin Ford. For those who drive to Pike and Rose from 270, you pass the Leadership Montgomery spaces in the building off to the right. And you may wonder, what's Leadership Montgomery? So you're going to leave here with a full understanding of what Leadership Montgomery is. Ms. Ford serves as the Senior Director of Engagement and Communications. She's in that position due to 15 years of nonprofit organizational leadership, so a real labor of love in her work. She's also a proud double degree alum of Morehead State University, and as it's fitting as this is decorated for a wedding reception, a few years back, her and her husband had their rehearsal dinner right upstairs at That's Amore Italian Grill. So I'd like to think that they like me enough that we decorated this to remind you of that great event. But yep, so we will be passing out handouts now that tables have been cleared, so stay tuned for those, and we welcome Ms. Ford to our chapter stage.
Oh, perfect. Good evening, everyone. How are you? I've had lovely conversation at the table, and I hope everybody else has too. As Matt said, my name is Kaarmin Ford. I am the Senior Director for Communications and Engagement at Leadership Montgomery. I have to tell you that seeing 15 plus years of nonprofit experience really made me feel some type of way about aging. So it doesn't, I still feel 21 in my head. My body does not. But anyway. So I want to talk a little bit about Leadership Montgomery, kind of who we are, how we can support, and how we support the community with our programs and services. But first, I have a question because I like to make what I do a little interactive. And you can just shout out the answer to the question. What do you think, what skill do you think separates a good leader from a great leader? Listening? Absolutely. What was that? Empathy. Yes, definitely. Emotional intelligence. that's a big one. I'm coming to find out. Organization, yes. Clarity, yes. Being very clear with expectations. Definitely separates a good leader from a great leader. Yes, definitely. And people, I could go off on another tangent, but yes, investing and providing those opportunities to grow can only make employees stronger. Yes. One of the things that we like to tell our cohorts is no one knows everything, but together we know a lot. So we say that a lot in our cohorts, which I'll talk a little bit about. So any other? Yes. Vision, yes. Having a vision, right? So being able to and express that vision, communicate with clarity what that vision is. So that's very important. Well, thank you for indulging me. The handout, I have to apologize. We ran out of our brochures. So I had to print some out flat for you so you can actually fold that up into a tri-brochure. So sorry, hashtag nonprofit life. So what is Leadership Montgomery? I'll start with the basics. We connect and prepare leaders to build thriving and inclusive workplaces and communities. Our whole vision, speaking of vision, is to make sure that this county has a legacy of leaders. So kind of building that legacy, building that pipeline of leaders to lead this county in whatever way that they can, whether it's through civic engagement, whether it's managing up or leading sideways, not just those who are, running the government or anything, but really being true leaders within the communities. We do have some values at Leadership Montgomery. We engage all voices. So being open and to hearing, again, what I said, to no one knows everything, but together we know a lot. So making sure that we engage all the voices, we act with integrity, we grow ourselves and others, we promote diversity and equity, and we lead inclusively. So we're still sticking to that. So everything that we do at Leadership Montgomery, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what our programs and things are, but I really wanted to talk about our community leadership framework. We are a community leadership organization. We have been around for 35 years. We were founded in 1989, and we started with one flagship program. Now we have 5 different programs. This year, we're offering 3 of those programs to really help leaders at every stage of their journey. We also do consulting and training, which I'm going to talk about a little later. But everything we do is through a community leadership framework that we have created. So that is knowledge of community. We want to make sure that people know where they live and where they work. We want them to know the ins and outs. We want them to visit every part of the county, right? Because you would be surprised, people from Silver Spring maybe have never been to Poolsville or vice versa. So one of the only ways that you can really experience the county is to go there. We want to make sure that you are informed of how the county government works, how the municipalities work, how the education system works. So we really want to make sure that you have that knowledge of community, because if you have that knowledge of community, you can really help the community shine. So that's one pillar. There are 5 of them. Focused on collaborative solutions. So making sure we know that all communities have challenges, right? We know that it's not going to be solved by a single company. It's not going to be solved by a single sector. It will take everybody in the public sector, in the private sector, nonprofit, education, government. It's going to take everybody coming together with their own experiences, to really do something and bolster leadership to make this area great. So we focus on collaborative solutions, leadership assessment and development, making sure that you know your skills, you making sure that you know what you don't know so that you can improve those skills, not just from an individual standpoint, but from an organizational standpoint. People tend to think of leadership development as something that's individualized, but it really goes beyond that. There is organizational leadership and things that need to happen organizationally. So making sure that people who participate in a program or any of our consulting and training kind of think about that leadership and development, a leadership assessment and development perspective. Our commitment to EDI, we want to make sure that we are doing things inclusively. We want to make sure that everyone has a seat at the table, because again, it goes back, to me, it kind of partners with collaborative solutions, because you need those voices and experiences at the table in order to make things well. Again, sorry, I just got distracted by all of the blue over there. Civic engagement. So once you are a leader, you know, we want to make sure that we're giving back to the community. So we really work to make sure that people know how to give back civically. And that's more than just, you know, going to the playground for a day and cleaning it up. Maybe it's serving on a board or commission, working with a local nonprofit, using your skills to help out nonprofits, whether it's, in this particular case, being civically engaged. Maybe you have been a project manager for a number of years and you want to be a mentor to those who are just coming up. You know, that's part of civic engagement as well. So we want to make sure that leaders are also civically engaged. So those are the 5 pillars of our community leadership framework that we really strive to impart on everyone who comes kind of through our doors. So with that, I want to talk a little bit about the impact, because being around for 35 years, and I have been with the organization for 8 years, and I have seen such a transformation. For those of you who may have heard of Leadership Montgomery or had experience with other leadership programs around the county, there was this whole, or around the country, there was this whole movement of leadership programs. I'm a graduate of Leadership West Virginia personally. There's Leadership Greater Washington, Leadership Fairfax, Leadership Frederick. So the leadership concept is out there. I think when it was founded, it was more of a networking kind of thing, where you got the who's who of everybody coming in and having the network and making sure that they know kind of each other and kind of knowing the heavy hitters and the players. We have really evolved. Yes, there's still that part of networking, getting to know the network. We have over 3,000 graduates who have done our program. 7 out of the 11 on the county council have done the program. Lieutenant Governor Runa Miller has done the program. So it was thought of that, but going back to that community leadership framework, we're really gearing towards systems change, making sure that we all work together. We support partnerships, we support conversations, we support action to really hit home that community leadership. So I just kind of wanted to say that. So kind of having that part of the core class cohort that we do, which I'll talk about in a minute, but I wanted to start with impact. Part of the curriculum, going back to that civic engagement, is to do community engagement projects. And what we do is kind of have them say, okay, get together in groups. What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about adult learning? Are you passionate about fiscal responsibility? Are you passionate about helping the unhoused? So we really give them the opportunity to really form those partnerships naturally and work to tackle a community challenge. This year was no different. So I kind of wanted to talk through, we had 6 group projects. Through their projects, there were 200 direct participants. with 1,000 community members right here reached. They did innovation models. So each of their projects, which I'm going to tell you what they are in a minute, were designed for replication. So they kind of did all the heavy lifting, the footwork, so that people who are also passionate about this leadership challenge, community challenge, could kind of take that and run with it. So we did that. All the projects were centered on different populations and making sure that it was a sustainable impact, train-to-trainer models, ongoing partnerships, help with capacity building and that type of thing. So the projects that they came up with, bridging political divides, they got people together to kind of to teach them how to essentially bridge political divides. We know how divided this country can be. Financial literacy for youth, pathways to behavioral health careers. I believe in their project, they decided that behavioral health careers are going to need to increase by 60% about the year 2028 in order to meet the need, which I found was interesting. Affordable housing innovation, building bridges across generations, and climate sustainability and resistance building. Again, they all came up with what they were passionate about. We just kind of gave them some guidelines and away they went to make all that impact from the previous slide. So I wanted to start with the impact before I went into the offerings and kind of how this whole operation runs together. Just because I think it's powerful to start with the impact story, just like the story of little Natalie at the church who wanted to paint her egg. So I love that story. So we do leadership cohorts. We have a cohort for emerging leaders. These are the leaders who are in their early career. Elevate, that kind of mid-career professionals who maybe have gone into senior leadership roles or new in senior leadership roles. And then our core program, which is our flagship program that's been around for 35 years. Those are the established leaders. I have a chart later, who really are thinking beyond themselves and thinking about community leadership. Part of what we do at Leadership Montgomery is to have community convenings. We want to get the community together to talk about things, to create action, again, those collaborative solutions. We have a Business Leaders Impact Council that provides businesses and business leaders with ways with which they could give back, which I'll talk about in a minute. We have a full day leadership conference that we do in the spring. That leadership conference, we've been doing it for years. That has things like emotional intelligence, well-being. We've done one on branding. We've done one on collaborative partnerships, how to form better partnerships. We've done them on the housing market and what that looks like. We've done one on AI over the years. So it's really just that opportunity for people to come together in a cross-sector way to talk about community issues, and it basically that community leadership framework all in a day. So we do community conversations. We actually just did one in March to talk about the present time that we're in and talk about the landscape of what's happening and jobs and how we can come together, because this moment kind of calls for us to think about things differently. And then I mentioned a network of 3,000 who have done our programs. Then we have leadership support, where we can support leadership through consulting and training that we do with strategic planning and development. We do leadership development. We have done trainings and things on everything like leading healthy and effective teams, to successful change management. You name it, kind of in that leadership development space, we could provide that. Group facilitation, inclusion, community engagement, and impact. We're starting down that micro learning. We're actually doing it for a client coming up this year. So very tailored and specific things that we can do in that micro learning space, and then nonprofit board service. So to talk about the cohorts. So the components and methods that are kind of taken into considerations, how we put these cohorts on, is through subject matter experts who are really leaders in the field. You probably don't want me to talk about education or even project management, but we will have an expert to talk about whatever it is, the topic that we're doing. We do site visits and experiences. We do things like going to the Public Safety Training Academy and learning about what our first responders go through, whether it's policing, firefighting, kind of learning about that and really hearing from those people what that's about. Taking a tour of a classroom or a school when we're talking about education. So really those site visits and experiences, again, the community engagement projects, which I talked about, and then really that cohort building, really getting to know your peers and really making those connections that can help you later on. So we want people, again, going through that community leadership framework, to be able to tackle organizational and leadership challenges. This is really equipping them to be better leaders, for you to be better leaders. Expand your network. It's always helpful. I mean, you all had a section to where who needs a job, who has a job. That's fantastic. So making sure you have that network when you want to partner with somebody or if you need a job, that type of thing. And strengthen commitment to civic engagement, and to address and eliminate disparities that systems change. So that's what we want everybody who comes through our cohort programs to kind of get out of our programs. So I'm going to talk about our emerging leaders. That's what Matt had asked me to talk about. So again, this is for our early career professionals, those who are building the foundation for their leadership skills. We do 7 sessions from September to May. We have things, and I even wrote it down. I think my list is over here on my notes, so please forgive me. So we have different topics that we cover kind of through an arc of the year. Yes, they do a presentation similar to CORE, but it's a little bit different in terms of community engagement projects. But we do things like understanding the county, grounding your leadership, leading teams and managing team dynamics, that type of thing are the kind of the crux of what happens during the emerging leader session. And there's really this time for them to just not only get to know themselves as a leader, but get kind of accustomed to doing that foundational leadership skill set, and that type of thing. Like I said, it's 7 sessions running from September to May. We're actually going to start in a couple of weeks, which I can't believe summer is over. Then we have Elevate, which is this year's the first year we are doing Elevate. It is for those mid-career professionals, or who are new to civic engagement. So we will do things like finding your leadership style. Really, what kind of leader are you? What kind of leader do you want to be? We will have coaching sessions, and really kind of really deep diving into what it takes to be a new leader. So that will be 8 sessions. All of our sessions run from September to May. So, and then we have our CORE program, which is again our connecting our regions execs. Those are for established and experienced leaders, those who are running companies, those who are really looking for, yes, a little bit of leadership development, but how can they use their leadership to really make sure that they are really doing good in the county. This, I think, is the easiest way to talk about how the stages of leadership. So if you are launching in your career, in your leadership, the emerging leaders, you build foundational skills and you're introduced to community issues, and it's more of a self-awareness perspective. First-time exec or recently promoted senior leaders, you are advancing your leadership, you're elevating your leadership. See what we did there? You're deepening your leadership capacity and you're expanding your networks. You're broadening your perspective and really learning your executive identity, strategic thinking, that type of thing. And then established leaders are in the core program, strengthening the cross-sector connections. Again, no one knows everything. Together we know a lot, especially if you kind of go out of your sector. Civic leadership, systems change, influencing at a community level is kind of where the core program takes you. So, and I can share this with you as well. I see people taking pictures, but those are our leadership program cohorts. These are the ones, kind of the meat and potatoes of really developing strong leaders really happens in these leadership cohort programs. Then I'm just going to run through quickly training and consulting. Again, I'm not going to read it because you all can read, and I talked about it a little bit before, but this year we have worked with the Montgomery County government, Montgomery Parks, Caring Matters, foundations. We work with consortiums, the Latino Health Initiative. Jubilee Jumpstart was an education provider of early childhood education. So those are just the groups that we've worked with this year, doing these consulting and training services to really elevate their leadership. And then again, we do community convenings and initiatives. So like I mentioned, the Business Leaders Impact Council, we started this in 2002 to really connect businesses and organizations who want to make Montgomery County a great place. So we do things through the Business Leaders Impact Council of action, of learning, that also, these are the people who understand that what's good for business is good for community, essentially. So in talking about everything, our next meeting is in October, and it's free and it's open to everyone to talk about workforce development strategies in a shifting economy, because we know, particularly around here, economy shifting, we are kind of pivoting, sadly, away from government with everything happening at the federal level. So kind of pivoting and see how we can continue to make this community a great place, thinking about that shift. Then we have a cross-sector leadership conference that I talked about. That's happening in April next year. And that's really what we have coming up. I really wanted to leave time for questions. If anyone had any questions, anything leadership, any ideas, anything at all, I kind of leave the floor open. Yes.
For mobility or job placement, those partnerships with the county or like the big businesses area.
Sure. So usually by nature of participating in the programs, you kind of gain that access. We do, what I didn't mention here is talking a little bit more about our alumni engagement work. So we work to keep everyone who's been part of a program kind of connected and keeping up on their skills. And that also means meeting people and keeping connections. So we really encourage, like, if you want an introduction or something to someone that we have and you're an alumni, we can absolutely make those introductions. You know, we have specific, you know, job boards or ways to get on boards and commissions. And the thing about Leadership Montgomery that I really like is no two experiences are the same. So we get people just reaching out to us saying, hey, I'm thinking about this. Who do you know for that? And we will make those connections. Yes.
Montgomery County is a great place.
You can work and or live or have just a vested interest in Montgomery County. So no, you don't have to live here. Hi. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. So this question was about how much the cohort programs were and the tuition assistance. So the Emerging Leaders program is $3,200 for the year, and that covers, all of the snacks, the lunches, what it takes to put on the program. The Elevate program is $4,000, and the core program is $6,400. But again, we do fundraising, particularly from our alumni, to make sure that cost is not a barrier. So, yes, ma'am. Do we have anything available for college students? We at one point had a youth program that we did for high school students, but that phased out in 2017 for a myriad of reasons, and that was even before I got here. So no, we tend to focus on early career, mid-career, and established professionals. I saw that you had a question. Uh-huh. You all collaborate at all? Sure. So the question was, do different leadership programs kind of collaborate? So yes, there is, similar to kind of this group, there is a association of leadership programs. It's not really a governing body. It's just a way for us to exchange ideas, a way for us to kind of keep up on best practices and that type of thing. Did I see a hand over here? Okay, any other questions? Yes.
Does every leadership X city or county operate off the same curriculum?
Nope. They are all different. So in my experiences, for example, I used to live in West Virginia. I did Leadership West Virginia, which was a statewide program. That was part of the chamber, like the state chamber. We at Leadership, and there's a lot of leadership programs who operate through the chamber. There are also a lot of leadership programs who are independent 501c3s, like we are. We do our own thing. We don't get funding from the county or a chamber or anything. So it's really autonomous to that particular city or particular area because they just have different needs. Then believe me, the needs of West Virginia are very different from the needs and conversations that are here. So yes, ma'am. So we have a few opportunities, but they're really more of kind of logistical help, day of help, that type of thing in there. It's kind of in between. But I will say that in terms of getting community involved in the community, we do have on our website all of the open boards and commissions that are available through the county. And I mean, it's every board or commission you could think of, from a community advisory board to animal services to, gosh, I don't, like, health services, like anything that any board or commission that's run through the county, we try to keep those options posted. We also do board matching. So we have a training called the Essentials of Nonprofit Board Service. And then you can elect to have a high touch matching process to a particular board that you might be interested in. So I matched people with people who are interested in reading in libraries, or people who are interested in youth sports development or animal services. So it really just depends on the organization and kind of what you're interested in. So we offer volunteer opportunities and things that way. We also work with the Montgomery County Volunteer Center as well. I love your questions. Yes.
Coming back to like, just everybody's with them, what's in for them.
Yeah.
That's graduates, something getting put it under like licensing, issues, courses.
Sure.
You guys have a metric in terms of like graduates, like success post.
Sure. It's almost like I planted that question because which I really didn't, by the way. So the question was, do we have what kind of success metrics do we have from our alumni? I talked a little, there's a lot of anecdotal things of partnerships and organizations being started because of Leadership Montgomery. I'm actually working on a story now from MCPS who started a program through their experience. Someone at MCPS started a program through their experience at Leadership Montgomery. And we just did a survey of all of our alumni, and I can tell you that 90% of people who have gone through our program have seen some sort of leadership or career advancement since doing the program. So that was a statistic we were very proud of. Yeah.
Talk a little bit about the application process. Deadlines. So you mentioned that in a lot of cases, those are affected by a lot of companies pay for it.
Sure. Yeah. Who's your wife, by the way? I love Lynn. She's amazing. She's fantastic. Yes, we are big fans of Lynn's at the Leadership Montgomery. So all of our programs start in September. We're actually starting to do our core opening retreat next week. We have a rolling application process, so you can apply at any time. Depending on the start of the program, you can ask to be considered for the upcoming program. So we have a deadline, I'll put, at the end of April for the following cohort year, but you can apply at any time. So if you apply, say, anytime between May and the beginning of September, you can say that you would like to be considered for the upcoming year or wait until the following year. Our application process, depending on the program, has different questions, kind of where do you see yourself, why you want to do the program, that type of thing. We ask for 2 letters of recommendation. That can be from supervisor, someone you work with in the community, that type of thing. And then of course, being available to participate. So yes, rolling applications, they're on our website at all times. Yeah. And you can take as long as you need to, because you can save and come back to it, which was very exciting for us when we switched to that. Any other questions? All right, well, thank you for letting me come and talk a little bit about community leadership and the community leadership framework. And I'll be around if anyone has any questions or wants any more information about the upcoming cohorts or anything. I'll be here. So thank you. Thank you.
Okay, another thanks to Ms. Ford for her great presentation and volunteering her time tonight. Despite Leadership Montgomery being around for 35 years and us being around for 21 years, this is the first collaboration we've had, but hopefully this is the start of a beautiful friendship that we can collaborate. And 2 of the top 3 nonprofits in Montgomery County, including Manna Food Center, our partner for the annual November food drive. So another round of applause for Ms. Ford and her team. Okay, so thank you for being members. Thank you for coming today, to both our virtual audience and everyone in the room. The NFL season starts tomorrow. There's college games already, so football time is here. We look forward to seeing everybody the first Wednesday of October, and stay tuned on our newsletter for follow-ups on all of our events. As we stated, Ms. Ford and our chapter board members, if you guys want to stand up. Yeah, round of applause for all they do. So they'll hang around a little bit as well if you have any questions for them or myself, and drive safely and have a great September. Thank you.